Long before the enigmatic Book of Enoch was penned, the ancient world teemed with cultures, myths, and beliefs that sought to explain the mysteries of existence. Imagine a time when oral traditions passed from generation to generation were the lifeblood of societies. Before sacred texts were etched on scrolls, the people of the ancient Near East lived in a world rich with storytelling, a world where the unseen was as real as the earth beneath their feet. In those days, the heavens were not just a vast expanse but a realm of divine power. Stars were considered messengers, celestial beings watching over humanity. The constellations whispered secrets to those who could decipher them, and the sky itself was seen as a veil separating mortals from the divine. It was within this worldview that early Mesopotamian and Canaanite societies began to develop their myths, stories of gods, giants, and supernatural beings that walked among men. Among these tales were whispers of beings called the Watchers. Who were they? Were they benevolent protectors, or something far darker? The term watcher derives from the Aramaic word iron, meaning those who watch or those who are awake. In Jewish mystical thought, the Watchers were angelic beings tasked with observing humanity, their vigilance both a blessing and a curse. Some legends describe them as guardians who succumbed to temptation, leaving their heavenly posts to descend to earth. This idea of celestial beings interacting with humanity predated the Book of Enoch but set the stage for its creation. The cultures surrounding ancient Israel, Babylon, Assyria, and Egypt, contributed to this culture of spiritual thought. Their myths, inscribed on clay tablets and stone monuments, told of divine beings who mingled with humans, producing hybrid offspring, giants known as Nephilim. The term Nephilim, rooted in the Hebrew word naphal, to fall, has often been translated as fallen ones or giants. But what did it truly mean? And why does this word evoke such unease? For centuries, these stories remained on the fringes of human imagination, filling the gaps where historical memory ended and speculation began. But within the Jewish tradition, they evolved into something deeper, something more theologically charged. By the Second Temple period, a time marked by intense apocalyptic fervor, these tales became the bedrock of an emerging narrative, a story that sought to explain not only the origin of evil but also the fate of the righteous in a world fraught with corruption. The Jewish people, having returned from Babylonian exile, were acutely aware of the spiritual battle between light and darkness. Their captivity had exposed them to Babylonian myths and Zoroastrian dualism, concepts that would shape their understanding of cosmic order. As they rebuilt their lives in the land of Israel, they carried with them a heightened sense of urgency about divine judgment and the hope of a messianic age. It was during this turbulent period that the seeds of the Book of Enoch were sown. The name Enoch itself carries profound meaning. In Hebrew, Chanukh translates to dedicated or initiated, suggesting someone set apart for a unique purpose. Enoch, the great-grandfather of Noah, is mentioned briefly in the Bible. Genesis 5 verse 24. Enoch walked with God, then he was no more, because God took him away. But what does it mean to walk with God? Why was Enoch taken, and where did he go? These questions ignited the imagination of Jewish thinkers, inspiring them to expand on Enoch's mysterious life. It is here, in this intersection of historical reality and spiritual speculation, that the Book of Enoch finds its origins. But before diving into its contents, consider this: why would a book so rich with cosmic drama and divine insight be excluded from the Bible? What secrets does it hold that were deemed too dangerous for the faithful? As we journey further, we will uncover the hidden threads that connect Enoch's world to our own, a world where the lines between the divine and the human blur, leaving us to question what lies beyond. What could be so perilous about a book that claims to reveal the heavens' deepest secrets? Could it be that understanding its message might change the way we see the universe itself? The Book of Enoch is not merely a text, it is a labyrinth of mysteries, an ancient portal into a world that defies the boundaries of human understanding. To grasp its essence, one must step away from conventional narratives and peer into the shadows it casts. What makes this book so distinct, and so dangerous, is not just its contents, but the way it bridges the visible and invisible realms, inviting us into a cosmic drama that challenges the very foundations of faith. At the heart of the Book of Enoch lies an enigmatic tale, the descent of the Watchers. These celestial beings, whose names echo through its pages, are far from the benevolent angels we often envision. The Watchers, also called Grigori in Greek, are described as a class of heavenly entities sent to observe humanity. But observation soon turns into temptation, and temptation into rebellion. The Book of the Watchers, the first section of the text, unfolds like a forbidden revelation, recounting how these beings, seduced by earthly beauty, abandoned their divine posts to dwell among mortals. This tale is more than a story of rebellion, it is a haunting reflection of human desires and weaknesses projected onto the divine. The Watchers, led by their chief Semjaza, made a pact to descend to earth, and in doing so, they crossed an irreversible boundary. This act of defiance is described vividly in Enoch 6:2, and the angels, the children of heaven, saw them and desired them, and they said to one another, "Come, let us choose wives from among the children of men and beget us children." But why is this narrative so provocative? The answer lies in its implications. The offspring of these unions, the Nephilim, are described as beings of immense size and strength, giants who became the tyrants and legends of ancient times. Their existence, as portrayed in the Book of Enoch, is a stark reminder of the consequences of blurring divine and human realms. The Nephilim were not merely a curiosity, they were a threat to the order of creation itself, embodying chaos and corruption. The story grows darker when the Watchers introduce forbidden knowledge to humanity. They teach metallurgy, the art of weapon-making, astrology, and sorcery, skills that, while seemingly empowering, unravel the moral fabric of society. The parallels to the biblical story of the Garden of Eden are unmistakable. Just as the serpent offered the knowledge of good and evil, the Watchers offered knowledge that humanity was not prepared to wield. But unlike Eden, this tale spirals into destruction on an apocalyptic scale. One of the most striking elements of the Book of Enoch is its vivid portrayal of the spiritual hierarchy. The heavens are not a monolithic domain but a multi-layered cosmos teeming with entities, some loyal to God, others fallen and rebellious. This complex cosmology suggests that the spiritual realm is far more intricate than the human mind can comprehend. In Enoch 1:9, we read, "Behold, he comes with 10,000 holy ones to execute judgment upon all, and to destroy all the ungodly." This prophecy of divine retribution adds an urgent layer to the text, hinting at a cosmic reckoning that transcends human history. The sheer scope of the Book of Enoch is staggering. It ventures into topics rarely addressed in canonical texts, such as the origins of evil, the mechanics of divine judgment, and the interplay between heaven and earth. The book also paints Enoch himself as a figure of unparalleled wisdom. Taken up into the heavens, Enoch is shown visions of creation's inner workings, from the courses of the stars to the fates of souls. This journey transforms him into a mediator between God and humanity, a role that elevates his status far beyond that of a mere mortal. But herein lies the danger. The Book of Enoch blurs the lines between inspired scripture and speculative theology. Its vivid descriptions of angelic rebellion and divine mysteries have fueled endless debates among scholars, theologians, and mystics. Could these stories be literal truths, suppressed because of their unsettling implications? Or are they allegories, designed to convey spiritual truths in symbolic language? The book's controversial nature is amplified by its influence on later apocalyptic writings, including the New Testament. Jude 1 verses 14 to 15 quotes directly from Enoch, lending it a curious air of legitimacy. Yet, despite this, the book was excluded from the biblical canon in most traditions, raising questions about the criteria used to define sacred versus heretical. Imagine, for a moment, the power of such a text in the wrong hands. Throughout history, secret societies, occult movements, and fringe religious groups have latched onto the Book of Enoch, claiming it holds keys to forbidden knowledge. Its descriptions of angelic beings and cosmic hierarchies have inspired everything from Renaissance art to modern conspiracy theories about extraterrestrial life. And so, we return to the central enigma: why was the Book of Enoch buried, hidden from mainstream faith for centuries? What truths does it hold that were deemed too dangerous to share? Could it be that its narrative strikes too close to the heart of humanity's deepest fears, our fascination with the divine, our flirtation with the forbidden, and our relentless quest for knowledge? The more we delve into its pages, the more the Book of Enoch seems to unravel the very fabric of the known world. What lies ahead is not just an exploration of its mysteries but a confrontation with the shadows it casts over our understanding of faith, history, and the cosmos itself. Don't forget to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more explorations into the mysteries of the universe. As we shift focus, the question becomes not just what the Book of Enoch contains but why such a compelling and provocative text was excluded from the biblical canon. To answer this, we must dive into the murky waters of history, theology, and authority, exploring the decisions made by religious leaders and scholars that would ultimately shape the sacred texts as we know them today. The exclusion of the Book of Enoch was not an arbitrary act. It was a deliberate decision that reflects the priorities and concerns of early religious communities. To understand this, we must first consider the context in which the biblical canon was formed. The Old Testament canon was solidified over centuries, shaped by Jewish leaders in response to the Babylonian exile, the rebuilding of the Second Temple, and the cultural pressures of Hellenistic rule. By the time of the Second Temple period, 516 BCE to 70 CE, the Jewish community sought a cohesive set of texts that reinforced their identity and theological orthodoxy. The Book of Enoch, with its vivid apocalyptic imagery and focus on angelic rebellion, did not align neatly with this vision. Its narrative introduced theological complexities that were difficult to reconcile with mainstream Jewish teachings. For instance, the detailed accounts of the Watchers and Nephilim raised unsettling questions about the nature of sin and the role of supernatural beings in human history. Was evil a result of human choice, as seen in Genesis? Or was it instigated by external, celestial forces as the Book of Enoch suggests? This tension made the text controversial and, for some, theologically dangerous. Moreover, the emergence of Christianity added another layer of scrutiny to the Book of Enoch. Early Christians, particularly in the 1st and 2nd century CE, grappled with defining their faith against both Jewish and Greco-Roman contexts. As the New Testament writings took shape, church leaders faced the monumental task of discerning which texts would form the foundation of Christian doctrine. The Book of Enoch posed a dilemma. On one hand, it was highly influential, particularly within apocalyptic traditions. Its vivid imagery of divine judgment and cosmic order resonated deeply with early Christian thinkers. The Epistle of Jude even quotes directly from Enoch, stating, "Enoch, the seventh from Adam, prophesied about them, see, the Lord is coming with thousands upon thousands of his holy ones to judge everyone." Jude 1 verses 14 to 15. On the other hand, the book's speculative nature and complex cosmology risked overshadowing the simplicity of the gospel message. The councils that helped shape the Christian canon, such as the Council of Laodicea, 363 CE, and later the Synod of Hippo, 393 CE, opted to exclude the Book of Enoch. This decision was likely influenced by its lack of widespread acceptance among Jewish communities and its association with esoteric ideas that bordered on heresy. By the 4th century, the Book of Enoch was effectively silenced in most mainstream Christian traditions, although it remained a revered text in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, which continues to consider it canonical to this day. Statistically, the Book of Enoch's influence is undeniable. Studies of ancient manuscripts reveal that it was among the most widely read texts in the centuries leading up to the birth of Christ. Fragments of the book were discovered among the Dead Sea Scrolls, a collection of Jewish texts hidden in caves near Qumran. Out of the roughly 900 scrolls found, 11 copies of the Book of Enoch were identified, more than the number of copies found for many canonical books of the Bible, including Ezra and Nehemiah. This suggests that the book held significant importance within certain Jewish sects, particularly those with an apocalyptic worldview. But influence does not guarantee inclusion. Theologians often cite two main reasons for its exclusion: authorship and theological alignment. Authorship was a critical criterion for both Jewish and Christian canon formation. While the Book of Enoch is attributed to Enoch, the seventh generation from Adam, scholars widely agree that it was written much later, between the 3rd and 1st centuries BCE. This pseudonymous authorship undermined its credibility in the eyes of early religious authorities. Theological alignment, or lack thereof, was an even greater issue. The Book of Enoch's portrayal of divine judgment and angelic rebellion deviates significantly from the themes of grace and redemption that permeate the New Testament. Its apocalyptic tone, while captivating, risked overshadowing the hope central to Christian doctrine. Additionally, its detailed descriptions of angelic hierarchies and celestial realms fed into the growing fascination with mysticism and occultism, a concern that would later fuel the Church's opposition to Gnostic texts. And yet, despite its exclusion, the Book of Enoch refuses to fade into obscurity. It continues to capture the imagination of scholars, theologians, and conspiracy theorists alike. Some argue that its omission from the Bible reflects an intentional suppression of inconvenient truths. Others see it as a testament to the Church's commitment to doctrinal purity. Perhaps the most intriguing aspect of its exclusion is the lingering sense of what if. What if the Book of Enoch had been included? Would it have deepened our understanding of biblical cosmology, or would it have sown confusion and discord among the faithful? The debate remains unresolved, a silent verdict that echoes through history. As we turn the page to explore the implications of the Book of Enoch's teachings, one thing becomes clear: its exclusion from the canon has not diminished its power. On the contrary, it has only heightened the mystique surrounding it, leaving us to ponder the secrets it holds and the dangers it may yet reveal. The Book of Enoch is not just a relic of ancient literature, it is a ticking time bomb of theological and ideological implications. Its very existence challenges the boundaries of faith, and its contents pose direct risks to those who delve into its mysteries without caution. But what exactly makes it dangerous? First, the Book of Enoch has been a magnet for misinterpretation. Its vivid descriptions of angelic beings, cosmic hierarchies, and divine judgment have fueled countless conspiracy theories and fringe ideologies. Groups ranging from Gnostics in the early centuries to modern occultists have used Enoch's narratives to justify their beliefs. For instance, the detailed account of the Watchers and their rebellion has been co-opted by sects claiming hidden knowledge about humanity's origins. These distortions risk pulling readers away from orthodox faith and grounding their spirituality in speculative, and often heretical, ideas. Second, the book's influence on apocalyptic thought cannot be underestimated. Its portrayal of judgment, destruction, and otherworldly interventions has contributed to an unhealthy fascination with end-time scenarios. For some, this has led to fear-driven theology, while for others, it has encouraged a dangerous detachment from earthly responsibilities, all under the guise of awaiting divine judgment. The risks of misinterpreting apocalyptic imagery are not theoretical, they have real-world consequences, as history has shown with extremist groups and cults like Heaven's Gate, which manipulated similar themes to devastating ends. Third, the Book of Enoch introduces theological complexities that can disrupt foundational Christian beliefs. Its depiction of sin as originating from celestial beings challenges the biblical narrative of human responsibility and the need for personal repentance. By emphasizing the actions of the Watchers as the root of evil, the text risks shifting accountability away from humanity. This divergence from mainstream theology undermines key doctrines, such as original sin and the role of Christ's redemptive sacrifice. Fourth, the book's descriptions of forbidden knowledge present another peril. The Watchers teaching humans skills like weapon-making, sorcery, and astrology might seem like mythological embellishments, but their underlying message is deeply subversive. By framing knowledge as both a gift and a curse, the Book of Enoch blurs the lines between progress and destruction, tempting readers to seek hidden truths without discernment. In the wrong hands, this pursuit has historically led to dangerous practices, from alchemical experiments in medieval Europe to modern-day obsessions with occult rituals. In short, the dangers of the Book of Enoch lie not only in its content but also in its impact. It captivates the imagination, but without careful guidance, it can lead to theological confusion, fear-driven ideologies, and an obsession with speculative knowledge. Its exclusion from the canon was not merely a historical decision but a protective measure, one that continues to resonate as a warning for those who seek its secrets without caution. The Book of Enoch remains an enigma, both captivating and perilous, a text that has stood at the crossroads of faith, controversy, and curiosity for centuries. We've explored its fascinating origins in a world steeped in ancient mysticism, its vivid portrayal of the Watchers and their rebellion, and its unsettling depiction of the Nephilim. We've delved into the reasons for its exclusion from the biblical canon and the dangerous allure it holds for those who seek forbidden knowledge. But as we step back, the central question lingers: why does this ancient text continue to resonate? The answer lies in its ability to provoke. The Book of Enoch challenges the status quo, forcing us to confront the unseen realms and question the boundaries between divine revelation and human interpretation. It invites speculation but also warns of the consequences of misunderstanding the sacred. What makes it truly dangerous is its ability to blur lines between faith and fear, knowledge and obsession, history and myth. Its stories of angelic descent and apocalyptic judgment are timeless, echoing humanity's fascination with the unknown and our persistent quest for answers beyond the physical world. So, where do we go from here? The choice is yours. The Book of Enoch can be a source of insight, but only if approached with caution and discernment. It challenges us not to abandon faith but to deepen it, to seek truth without being consumed by speculation. The real danger is not the text itself, but what we choose to do with its mysteries.